Hey guys, how's it going? I'm back with another Coin Shop Finds video, and this is a legitimate Coin Shop Finds video. You know, lately I have been ordering some of my graded coins from coin shops online in other states, but I made it down to my local coin shop today, and you know, I was only anticipating going in trying to find just a couple of the nicer coins in the bin and getting out of there and not spending too much money. But as you can see, I ended up spending $450. I got $11.20 face worth silver, mostly Barber coinage. I did get a really cool toned Mercury dime. I don't even know what year it is. What does that say there? I think it's a 1938. I think, I'm not positive. But, you know, whenever I find stuff like this, I grab it. Even though, obviously, if you've been following along, you know Barber coinage is what interests me the most. And I also love the Seated Liberty coinage. But the Winged Liberty design, which is actually what the Mercury dime's name officially is, the Winged Liberty dime. But the Mercury dime is a very cool design that I enjoy also. But it's just, there's only so much you can collect and so much you can buy. And I just happen to focus on the Barber stuff and then the occasional seated. And actually there was a seated here. There was a hold seated dime. And usually out of the bin, seated stuff's either going to be like totally obliterated, excuse me, or really rough shape, cleaned, polished, or it'll have damage, or it'll be hold. And as you can see, this has a little bit of all of that. But here's a 1857 Seated Liberty dime. And the rest of this, I think, is Barber coinage. I'll just go through it as quickly as I can. I really love the toning on this. I wish it didn't have, let me get zoomed in better. And like I have said before, you know, I do work outdoors for a living in the construction trade, so I did scrub my hands as good as possible. It is what it is. I'll try and keep my fingers out of it, but look at the detail on this. 1909 Philadelphia. I like the amount of detail it had. You can see it's got a full Liberty there. Unfortunately, it's got that little punch mark over the face. But I also love the toning on that, so I grabbed that. Here's a 1907 with a partial Liberty. Grab that. Here's a 1914 with a full Liberty. Philly. I haven't been, this is the my main coin shop that I go to the most. Here's a 1901 with a weak full Liberty. So this is the one that, you know, I've been to probably over 100 times. It's not too far from where I live. I like the coin shop owner. I have a relationship with them there, so, you know, I feel like they give me some pretty good deals when they can. But I haven't been there in over a month, maybe even creeping up closer to 2 months to that particular coin shop. So I had to get back down there today, even though silver's at a record high. I think silver's at $57 an ounce right now. But, you know, I had the itch to get down there. And you can kind of tell I hadn't been there in a while because anything with this much detail on a dime in the bin, I'm going to grab. And you'll see there's quite a few of them in there. So, you know, now that I've made my appearance, it's kind of slim pickings in the bin. There's Very Weak Liberty, 19090. There were some dimes in there that had a lot of detail that were cleaned, like this one. So this one's obviously been cleaned, but not incredibly harshly. You know, it doesn't have a polished finish where you can see a reflection in it, but it has been cleaned. But with that amount of detail on it, 1912 Philly, I'll grab it. So I paid spot silver price for all this stuff. So it was 40x, which is actually, it's a hair under spot silver price. 40x is $56 an ounce, if my math is correct. So each one of these dimes you see, I paid $4 a piece for. The half dollars, I paid 20. And the quarters, I paid 10. Here's a 1907 quarter. You can see it's got a little PVC residue on it, but that's got almost a full Liberty. I thought that was pretty nice. Here's a 1902 with a full Liberty, nearly. It's got a very weak E, but I think this would count as a full Liberty, just a weak one. So, you know, $10 for that. Silver spot price for that, I think, is a steal. Here's another one with a full Liberty, 1912 Philly. So, like I said, this one's almost got a full Liberty. That'd be like a VG10, a strong VG10. But it'd be nice if that had an S on it. It'd be about a $6,000-$7,000 coin, probably. If it had an S on it. But like I said, I was going down there with the intention of only grabbing maybe $1 or $2 face, most. Just getting the best examples that I could find and getting out of there. And this is a really nice one because you could see this one's nice and original. This isn't one that's been cleaned. You know, that's typically the look you're going to get. You're going to get the really dark tone around the stars, around the inside of the rim on the obverse. You know, sometimes they even come a lot darker than that. That olive gray tone you see there. Sometimes it's even a lot darker. And then on the reverse, you get that really dark toning on the inside of all the devices there. And this does have the L, the I, part of the T, and the Y in Liberty visible. So I was very happy to pick that up. And got quite a bit more to go. Look at the detail in this one. 1914. This one's been cleaned, but like I said, for $4 for that much detail, I'm going to take it. You know, I've kind of been jonesing to get to the coin shop and look through that bin, because there's a lot of coins in the bin. It takes a couple of hours to search through, and they were really busy today. You know, there was another guy searching right behind me. I was kind of putting my coins that I look through into another bin, which he was searching through. Then there was another person waiting to look through the bin after we were done. So it was busy. Every once in a while you get somebody that doesn't really know the coin shop etiquette, and they'll just kind of come in and start picking right next to you, reaching through the stuff that you're looking through, and try to look through the stuff in your little pile that you're saving. But that type of stuff happens. I don't get worked up over it. I just, you know, Try to be nice and cordial. Kick up a little conversation. Just let them know, you know, this is my pile here that I'm taking, and usually they get the drift. This one, I don't know. I just couldn't not grab this one because it's got some original skin on it, even though it's severely damaged. I just liked the fact that it had some original skin on it. It had a lot of detail, so I grabbed it anyways. Oh, fumble. This one's really nice. $18.99. A lot of nice detail on it. Here's a 1914 with a full Liberty. A 1910 with a full Liberty. 1910D, Denver. This one I grabbed. I just thought the way that the date wore off this is just very unusual. I haven't seen that before too many times. Now, under a lot of magnification, you can kind of see, I think it's like a 1904 maybe. You could kind of make out a little bit of the date there. But I just thought it was interesting how this wore. That's why I grabbed that. Here's a 1915 quarter. Full little bit of Liberty present, Denver. Got a 1899 O. You know, some of the old New Orleans Mint quarters I'll just grab, even though that's not one of the crazy rare ones. I think that is a mintage of 2.5 million. Some of the mintages get well under $1 million. So you could see here's a 1916 with a couple letters in Liberty visible. And now we just got a bunch of half dollars. The majority of these have the L, the I, and the Y visible. There's a 1908S. But a few of them were even nicer than that. So even though silver is at a record high at $57 an ounce, here's the one that had quite a bit of Liberty visible. $18.99. $18.99 Philly. Even though silver's at a record high, you know, I think this is a good buy. These are old historic coins. I know a lot of people really like the Franklin design and the Roosevelt design, and I do too. But me personally, I think if I'm going to pay the same amount of money as I'm going to pay, you know, they had BU Franklins in the bin. So if I have to choose between a BU Franklin and this right here, you can see that's got a lot of letters in Liberty visible. Me personally, I'm just going to pick this just because I have an appreciation for this design. And to find barber coinage in halfway decent condition is a lot harder to do than to find Franklins in BU condition. So I'll always divert to getting this older stuff, but I do have a lot of Franklins. Don't get me wrong. I like all of the old 90% silver U.S. coinage. And the copper stuff too. I do have some copper stuff, but I have mostly silver. But for me, this is just, these are harder to find. So they got the same amount of silver, same price. If they're harder to find and there's less of them that exist, it just makes more sense for me to pick these. I wish I could afford to, I wouldn't have to pick. I'd grab all of it, but, you know, unfortunately, that isn't the state of affairs here. I gotta choose. And really, I shouldn't even have gotten this much probably, but, you know, I'm trading fiat dollars printed out of thin air for this old, beautiful 90% silver coinage that has the history and the intrinsic value of the silver. The fact that they're not making any more of these. Everything that exists today, that's it. And it's actually going to be less because these get melted every single day. So that's why I don't mind spending the money, even when it's $57 an ounce, and going out and buying, you know, $11 face of silver. Because at the end of the day, I'd rather have a bunch of this stored away, you know, than to have a bunch of digits in my bank account that are worth less and less and less every month, every year. So that's my ramble for today. That was my haul from the coin shop. I really love this Mercury dime. Look at the toning on that. That's just so cool. And I can't tell. I think it's a 38. Is it a 38? I don't know. I think I need a new eye test because I really can't tell. But the obverse, more of a blast white obverse. It's got nice luster and just really cool toning. But that's my ramble for today. That was my coin shop finds. $11.20 face. And I got it for 40x. Let me know what you think. What are you guys paying? What do you guys think of the coins? And see you on the next one.